Going live, solo live. I think I did one of these before. I don't know if anyone's going to find me on here. I'm not even sure if I did it right, but I'm on. See if anyone pops on. I got somebody who's in there. Eddie! Yeah, Eddie! What up? Fellow Hall of Famer. Yes, that's sick. You go. Right on. Sick. Thanks for coming in, boys. Woo! I didn't know there's like a protocol behind these Hall of Fame speeches. I figured I would just. My wife's like, you got to do a speech, and she's gone for the next hour. She's like, get in there, put a button up on. So I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just gonna say how it feels in the moment, since this is the moment, and I'll wait till a few more people get on. But yeah, I just want to pop on and give my own solo dance, and maybe maybe I'll show some cards after. We can talk cardboard. I don't know, but I'm still gonna go on with the guys and do a speech as well. And just like this speech, it's top of the dome, like Lou Rock says. I don't think about any of that stuff. Speeches, like I'm not gonna write anything down. It's all gonna come natural. Mike Petty, what up? Southern Collector, Brent Richards, and Cardboard. Oh man, this is sick. So stoked. I'll just let a few more people get in till I get going, but I'll keep spewing some words. So I'll just starts now. This is how it's gonna be. Hey Doug, this is the breaks. Welcome. Well, as you guys know, I got into the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. So I'll stand up. Double shock you guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really means a lot. I'll take a little drink to celebrate. I almost lost this mug. I was at my brother-in-law's wedding. My favorite mug of all time. That mug has a nostalgic meaning to me. I'll get back to the speech in a second. But you guys know me. I'm famous for my mug. I either have ice water, sparkling water, or I have a cocktail. And I have a cocktail right now. I just made one. I bought this before we moved over to where I live. And it has the emblem of where we live on the cup. And I've had it ever since. And it just, every time I have a drink or I'm sitting around the house, I have that thing full. So, that's the story behind the mug. All right, back to the speech. More people are in here. Orlando, congratulations. Super stoked. Godlike Collectibles. Rev, Steve's Cards. Munson Trout Collector. Oh, thank you guys. All right, so back to the speech. I know it's the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. It is something that was created by someone in the community, Mike, and it is, to some people, this doesn't represent as much as it does to me and to a lot of us and most of the guys who voted. This really feels good. Like, it meant a lot. It's just cards, but it's not just cards to me. And I feel like, as my friends out there who've watched me as I share myself and my collection and the journey of these cards that have been, so meaningful in my life, it really means so much that guys out there that feel the same way about the hobby that we love, the things that we love, are voting me in as a peer, as an equal, as a collector. That really just hit home. So thank you. I mean, it's really, I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but it's not a small thing for someone who's been collecting for, 44 years of my whole life, to have fellow collectors out there say such nice things about me. And your guys' videos meant the world to me. And I know there was at least 20 that I watched that I didn't even comment on because I told myself I'd go back and comment. I got so lost and so mixed up with who I was commenting on. I made a couple mistakes because I was listening to him in the car, because it was nonstop votes from you guys, and they just kept coming, and I watched every one of them all the way through from you announced the beginning all the way to the end of the video. I watched the whole thing of everyone that I was tagged in, and some that I wasn't tagged in, and then I was still on there. I was like, whoa, this is insane. So I know there is at least 10, 20 of you guys that I probably didn't even comment and say thank you, but it's not because I didn't watch, and it's not because I didn't care. I just got overwhelmed with commenting back meaningful things on each one. I didn't want to just say, hey, thank you. I wanted to sit down and think about it. But when I did that towards the end, especially like at the last couple days, we put it in the last 2 days, I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch them as I get my work done, listen to them. I'll comment back later because I'm doing things. And I just lost track of, you go back in your history, and then I start watching other things on YouTube, and it was so hard. So I apologize for anyone out there. I remember there was one in particular, and I forgot. I should remember, but I just remember watching one where they bought a baseball card box for me. It might have been Eddie, fellow YouTuber. I think it was. He pulled an Al Kaline out of one of my boxes that I have on my wall. Take you guys over there. Back in my early days with Adam, I did these trying to sell my off-centered stuff, and I did like boxes right there, trying to get you in. I got the ladder in the way. And Eddie, yeah, it was Eddie. I think it was. He bought one of those from me, and so did a lot of you guys. And then I did one with Splendid Sports, Adam, and a fellow Hall of Famer now on the same time. Just super meaningful, super grateful. So Eddie, special shout out. I appreciate all you guys who bought those and supported me along this crazy ride, and the differences, the things I've done in my collection. You listen to me spew about centering and everything. So with that said, I'll save the rest of my speech for when everybody's on there. But yeah, I wore this nice button up for you guys. My wife said you got to. I just went to my brother-in-law's wedding. That's what I wore. So pretty sick. Let me see who else is on there. I could have went on YouTube with anyone for the first time. Yeah, let me post that one. Thank you, Petty. I could have went on YouTube with anyone for the first time. It was with you for a reason. You are the genuine article. Thank you. And Lou Rock was on there. That was like the sickest live ever. That was bonkers. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun, Petty. I can't wait to go live with you again. Let me pop some of these up there. Egg, Mike, I watched your video and I commented on somebody else's that I watched about you. I think I texted you too. Yeah, I love you, brother. Thank you. Brent, Eddie. Yeah, it was you. Yes, I knew it. So stoked. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Orlando. Craig, thank you. I know you voted for me too. I don't remember if I commented back, but thank you. Yes. Peter B. Thank you. Oh, you got a new logo. I don't remember that logo there. Cy Young? I don't remember. Was that no, that's a hitter. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Because I don't know my D206 do well. James. Ely Hunter, thank you. I know you voted for me. Yes. And if you didn't vote for me too, thank you. I mean, just to be, that wasn't, everyone who makes videos on YouTube, in my mind, about baseball cards in our collections are Hall of Famers. Like we are diehards. We go on camera and we share and talk about our feelings about guys on cardboard. We get all emotional. I get all emotional talking about Mickey Mantle or, Roger Maris, and guys like everyone out there. Everyone's a Hall of Famer. I'm at a loss for words on how much this means. So let's see who else we got. Yeah, Iconic Al. You, woo. We're about the same size. Oh, Jimmy Collins. There we go. There you go. Another great ambassador for the hobby, bar none. Thanks for everything. Robert Lanning. Thank you, Robert. Oh man, yeah, whew, that was cool. So let me tell you how I learned about it. So I'm driving along. So yeah, I went to the bank, and right before the bank, I got a text from Brent, and I was like, I looked down, I was like, oh man, I mean, I kind of figured I was getting in after watching all the votes. Um, Not trying to be cocky or arrogant. It just seemed like it was going that way. But I got that text from Brent, and I had been waiting. My wife kept asking me, like, when's it gonna? When do you know yet? Even my dad. I told my dad all about it, and he's all proud of me too. So that's pretty cool. Brent texted me. He's like, congrats. And I looked down. I was like, dang it. And then and I was stoked too. It was cool. I went on there, and I got to listen, and I didn't look at any other texts after that because I didn't want to be spoiled with who else was in the class with me. So I go in the bank. I watched about a minute of Jake's video, went to the bank, deposited some money, got out, heard all the lists, all the names, and then Eddie's Cardboard Chaos. Right when his name came up, I was driving along and I called him. And I go, yeah, because I know Eddie Eddie, this means a lot to Eddie too, just like everybody who has made it and who votes. It means a lot. But I know Eddie in particular. I'm just so stoked to go in with Eddie. Called him right away, talked to him for a couple minutes. Then I waxed up my surfboard and went surfing for, I don't know, an hour and a half, something like that. Got some sick waves, swell was pumping, and I surfed at a spot I'd never surfed before. Parked on the side of the road, and there's a big north swell going. So surfed for an hour and a half and just enjoyed my time. Got back, and yeah, here I am. This is like an hour later or something like that. Stopped at Taco Bell, got Taco Bell, drove up to the spot I drive up to, and I sit and I overlook the ocean and I watch the waves coming in. It's such a sick spot. So, Hodges, thank you. Mookie, you. Well, I think that's what I got for you guys. Like, I would hang on all night. If you guys have any questions, like I could talk cards. Anybody wants to pop on? I got another good half hour till my wife comes home. But I also don't want to take all your guys' time. So let's see. I'll read any questions out there, anything. I did not realize Eddie was also in. Yes, congratulations, Eddie. Lewis Tank Car was Hall of Fame worthy all by itself. Classic. Yeah, Eddie got in. So, I mean, I don't want to give it away if you guys haven't watched Jake's video. So you guys just have to watch it. Be surprised for yourself. I don't want to take the thunder from Jake. Dude, I didn't realize that you weren't supposed to do like a live and go on here solo mode and do a speech. There's like a protocol. I got a text right before I was about to hit the live button. Hey, yeah, oh, you can't? Oh, you're not supposed to? Well, I've been known to break some rules in my life, and it's okay. I'll make another speech video for everybody, and it'll also be winged. Dylan, did you catch any tasty waves? Dude, look, you just missed the whole speech. I surfed for an hour and a half right after I found out I made it. And then I ate Taco Bell bean and cheese burritos on the cliff looking at the ocean. So I doubled that. I hit both those you got there. Check. Let's see. Any card you're going to pick up to celebrate? Ooh, that's a good idea. No, but I have thought about that, Craig. I was like thinking, I think what would be cool is if somehow I could get my wife to design a 2025 Hall of Fame, YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame, and send a card to each of the individuals who made it this year. That's already going through my brain. I think that'll be a really fun project. No promises to the other guys who made it, but it's probably going to happen because I want one for myself. And so if I'm going to make one, I'll just pick a card out for everybody that feels like it's meaningful. Or maybe, even better yet, maybe I'll get a photo with all of them and we get a card made. My wife can make the card. See if my wife's up for this. And then I can make a label and slab them all up and send them all out to the guys. That would be really freaking sick. Oh, that would be really cool. Maybe even make an extra supply of them for everybody who wants one. We can all sign like 50 of them, 100 of them. I like this idea. I like it. Oh, that's sick. That's a good idea. Oh, man. Let's see what else we got. Thank you, Steve. You're always commenting. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that would be really cool. Bronx Boys, thank you. Aaron Jordan. You should buy an off-center card, you rule breaker. You know what, James? I posted an off-centered. I still have a bunch of PSA 8 OCs. And my 1975 Topps Mini MVP set is chock full of them. I was probably 20 of them in there, maybe not 20, maybe 15. But I posted yesterday an entire page, all 4, 8 and 9 OCs from that set, minis and larges, one page, and I tagged Lou Rock. I still have off-center cards in my collection. Now, I would love to pick those ones up and find centered ones in 5s or whatever. Doesn't matter the grade, but centered ones. But I'm not going to because it's a huge effort, and those were like $3 when I bought them. So there's no, the small cards, they're staying in the collection. Not worth selling on eBay when you don't, they take everything out. Anything else you guys want to see, want to talk about? Because I can talk about cards all night. Like, dude, you guys want to see this sick card right here? You guys have probably seen it in my videos, but this is one I had since my childhood. I pulled this in a pack. This Brian Taylor Yankees, when Brian Taylor was hot. Whew, the upper deck. I think this is the minor league. I bought a whole bunch of minor league packs back then. Yeah, I think this is the minor leagues. And they have those holograms in there. This thing's been in this case since 1992. It's actually, what's cool about this one is that it's actually inlaid in there. This is probably one of the first ones that were inlaid, so it's not flattened. 61 Maris. There we go. Let me grab that thing. Now, I've been wanting to do a video on that, show that up close. It's coming out again right now. You guys can watch The Wizard of Oz right now, okay? Give you guys a little sneak tour here. This is full-blown Wizard of Oz here. Behind the curtain, there's another curtain. This curtain goes over top of that. It's a full-blown, like, you can't see through this. There's 3 layers in here. And that goes over top of the cards when I'm not home. Get back to the mirrors. But might as well show you guys since I'm live. See that? So when I'm not home, there's magnets at the bottom. That's covered. And this one folds in. So I know Iconic Al, since you said that, you're always worried about sun damage, and everyone should be because the stuff gets wrecked. This goes behind a wall. Only ones to stay out. And this is all museum grade glass. Also museum grade glass. Also, I have those same triple curtains, my wife's artwork, triple curtains on the windows, and I have UV protection on the windows, and outside the windows I have overhang with UV filtration over top of that. That side I have the less expensive cards, and those stay out, but there's no sun hitting them. So let me get back to that Maris and show you guys the crown jewel of my entire collection. So below, well, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty spectacular. So that goes flat like that. Put this up here, get out of the way, kind of see my collection there, part of it. So those are some binders. Those are all graded binders. Let's see. And then you got more graded binders down there. In that safe is where we're going to bust into, and there's 12 graded binders in there as well. So get in here. But I have the Maris out because I was going to do the show and tell up close, which I'll still do, but love to share it. All right, here's my next show. That's how I do, if I have a couple shows ready back there, sometimes going through my brain. Then sometimes I'll scrap the show. I know other guys will think this too, and they'll toss them in, put them back. I'll put them back in my binders and get my brain going again and try another show. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. All right. So if you guys don't know, I sold my 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 8 OC. I sold it for $5,000. And I had said I was going to sell for a couple of years. Well, I took that money and I bought about $1,500 worth of other cards. And then I bought this card that I'm going to share with you guys for $2,380 I won it for. More money than probably anyone's ever paid for this card. And it's just because it was mine. I wanted that card. And I genuinely, the second I saw it, I watched it for 6 days. I go, that is probably the best Roger Maris autograph in the world, especially for me, because of the card condition and the autograph and the card it's on. It is mind-blowing. So without further ado, let me take the sleeve off. Now I'm going to give you guys a close-up view of this on my close-up videos, of course. But Roger Maris, 1961. There's no way to like focus this. Touch the screen, doesn't do anything. This thing is bonkers. Just to find this card centered is insanely hard. And then his autograph right there in ballpoint, my favorite type of autographs on vintage cards. The presentation of this card, just holding this card, knowing Roger Maris either held this card or at least had the card in front of him and touched this baseball card. Roger Maris, not an easy card to get. There's not a lot of these. This could be the best looking one. There's a couple higher graded, just a few. But the grades mean nothing to me. As far as the eye appeal goes, the overall, this could be the best copy out there. I don't know. I haven't seen the other three, I think, that are higher or something. Man, but let me show you guys a pairing. So I also have what I think is the greatest modern autograph card of all time. I have two, actually. And for the fact that it is Aaron Judge in 2022 breaking Roger Maris's record. And this one were buybacks. They bought back during the famous Topps buyback, which is going to go down in history as one of the best programs they've ever done. So you're talking 10, 20 years from now, they're probably still going to do the program because it was so successful. This is the first autograph on the MVP of that thing, and there's only 22 of these. This is numbered to 22 on the back, and I actually purchased two of these, one, and then this one popped up for I won this for $280. I sold the other one for $1,200. I bought it for $700. This one popped up on, so I went for the lower graded, and the autograph looks great. So I was like, yeah, amen. There's 22 of these from a super iconic program that they did, and I think in the future, this thing's going to be bonkers. And I love it for what it is, but I also love it for what it can be in the future. And this is the same way to me. I say it before, it's a marriage thing. I buy cards because I love them. I mean, you guys know, this is my favorite home run, my favorite record of all time. Roger Maris being my guy for the home run record. This is it. You guys know I have a huge giant Roger Maris collection surrounding that. And then Aaron Judge being the guy I started collecting once he broke that record. I love having both of them, but I have one more to go with that. Yeah. Dude, I get fired up, Rick. Oh, I'll take a break. I'll take a little breath. One of these. Wet the lips too, all that talking. All right, next one that goes with it, okay? I'll give you guys a sneak behind the scenes because I was going to share them all together. I have the triple autograph from the Leaders card from 2020. Is this 2023? 2022? What is this? 2023 Leaders card that shows, I always get confused talking about this, shows Aaron Judge with 62 home runs autographed, and my man Mike Trout. Everyone forgets 2 years ago the guy hit 40 home runs and still got hurt. And then Yordan Alvarez triple auto. There is 9 of these, and this is also a buyback. And shout out to Shane Shoebox Legends for finding the original one that he bought. And then I go, I need that card, and he found one for me, and I bought it. Boom. That is the ultimate collection of my collection. This is the crown jewel of any of my cards in my entire collection. So, yeah, there you go. That's what you guys got for that. Man, yeah, I'm thrilled out of my mind. So I still have a lot of money left over from that sale because I also sold cards on Greg Morris. literally, I just deposited that check. It's on my desk. Today, because I tried before, I got rejected because I did it wrong. So I had money from that, and then I also sold my Sandy Koufax rookie that I know I can do better on. It had a weird bend, like not a crease, but like this bend in it that you could see under a certain movement. And I love what they look like when they're on the wall, but I also want to love them when they're in hand. So I sold that a little more than what I paid, but with fees, I lost money on that. But I took most of that money, the rest of that money I put in my bank, and I'm trying to hold back on buying anything crazy for a while. But I did pick up, I'll show you guys. I might as well show you guys since we're here. I picked up 2 Japanese cards that are mind-blowing, super rare. Rick's on here, Mangini. Yeah, guys. Woo! Dom, what up, buddy? Yeah. Woo! All right, let me go to the next box. The next box, it says next show. So that's a future show. So I might as well just bust these out. It's just a show. Can always show these other ones later. He's back in here. Those guys right there. There we go. Oh, yeah. I got to show this one to go with that. I have a stack of 61 card on cards. Like, so sick. All right. Let me show you guys. Oh, shoot. They're in my binder. Okay. Hold on. Let me get my binder. I forgot. I put them away. Grab my Japanese player binder. Right here. Crack that baby open. Dust free in these boxes. Pop that in. Put this on this. Got my binder. Let's see. So I got 2 cards here. So let me tell you about the cards before I show them. So because of guys like guys like Rick and John Mangini, I started really thinking about, I don't want to say it's too late for me to collect Babe Ruth and Honus Wagner and those guys on gum cards. It's not too late, but that stuff's really expensive. So I decided to, I've said this before, earlier this year, right after the National, I decided I'm going to collect all the gum issued cards from Japan of my guys. I have a few guys, and I got 2 of them here. I have quite a few Jintan gum cards because I feel like if gum cards are super freaking expensive for the big boys in Japan, these are these Japanese cards are super rare. You never see them. And it's my way of collecting those big guys. But in the Japanese Hall of Famers that I think are coming, they're going to have their moment in the sun soon, especially with Sadahara signing that Topps agreement. I think that these cards click all the boxes for me. The marriage of investment, just radical sick cards that I just love holding. I love having these cards. They click a lot of boxes, and I think these are just incredible cards. Now, we're going to have to take out the telescope for these. Oh, hey, John, everyone who's sent a comment, man, asking you shall receive, because the first card is really off-center. It actually has 2 cards on this card. And I didn't care because there's only like 4 of these ever been graded. And I have like the highest one or close to it or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the Chio. Honestly, I look like one time and then I never look again. And I don't really give a crap. I love the cards. I think they're freaking sick. Oh, so get your telescope out because this is a Rick vintage oddball cards. You need to put your cheaters on right here. This is the 1960 JG28 Lily Gum Sadahara O. Now these came, I'll pull a little Mangini. These came in I should have printed it out. I researched this. I was looking everywhere for some kind of description on how to talk about these cards or how they came in the pack. So they came in little boxes like chiclet gums. You guys ever had those? they had a little box, and then in that box you get one of these and a one piece of gum, I believe. And you could send these in. This is number 3. You can send in. I have a printout sheet, which I'll share in another video when I show these up close. That has you could send these in and redeem prizes. And it's not in English, but I didn't ask anyone if that's what it meant, but there's arrows, and that's what I deemed it was meant. That's what it was. And there's a little box that shows these what they came in. So this is so special to me. It's just such a sick card, and I love little cards. I love them. Super cool. So once I got this, so I had been watching this. Once I sold that Roger Maris, I was watching this card right here on Prestige Collectibles, Robert's eBay account. He put it up. I don't remember when he put it up, but he wanted $600, $599. And I had watched it, and I thought about buying it for a long time, but I didn't. And I waited, and I sold that card. I had money, and so I reached out to Robert, and he sold me this for $350. And the next day, I had another card on there on my watch list that I really wanted that went with this. And I did a little research and found this seller. Is Andrew on here? Yeah, Andrew. What up, buddy? You. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Oh, wait. Wrong one. Yeah, there we go. So I found another card of my guy. Same set. My other guy. Shigeo Nagashima. And he was on my watch list. So I found out the guy has an Instagram account. And I reached out. And I also bought this one for $350. And I asked him where he got this card, and he got it from Robert. So I probably, he made money off me, but I didn't care. Once I had this one, I collect them in pairs, and you don't ever see them. There's one more of these on eBay, just this one, and it's like $1,600. That's what the guy wants anyways. And this one is, I think, the highest graded, and I don't understand why this should be graded. So look how off-centered this card is. There's basically 2 cards on there. Mangini, you see that? 2 cards on 1 card. I don't care. It's just real special to have these. And now I get that because guys like you. This one, let me flip it over. The front, it looks like it just came out of the pack, like brand new. The corners are sharp as a tack. Looks like no one's touched these cards. They're super thick cards too. The back has all this staining on it. So I don't know if that was the gum staining. That's my guess. It's the gum staining. But how on earth do you give this one a 5? Like, if it's got all that staining. So I also, wonder if it popped up later after they graded it. I don't know. But there's no way that I would give this a 5. I would grade this a 3. And I'd also put stain on. Well, actually, I'd probably give it a 5 or a 6 and put ST on the back. If I pull this out, I would probably give this. It might even give it a 7 ST. It's super sharp. But the back has the issue where this one, it's got a little wear and tear to it, a little love. But look at that. So that's where my Japanese collection is headed. It's all the rare stuff, the gum products, any of the candy products that cards came in. Now let me show you guys a couple more cards that I have. Let's see. Pull these 2 out because these are 2 gum cards. And one of my guy, Sadahara and Shigeo. And these are super scarce. Like, these are incredibly scarce. There's an article about these from like 12 years ago, and there had only been 1 set discovered up to that point. And I don't know of any others to this date. And I never learned this until later, obviously, because I am not the research guy. I'm not that guy. But it is fun once I have these in hand and to go see how these came. And these were supposedly not hand cut in like a box of cards. So that's also pretty cool. And yeah, I have like 8 of these from the set, 8 different ones. I have Sadaharo has 4 of them, 4 queens. I have all of them, all different images. I have the whole set. probably the only set that I know that exists. And then I have 3 of the Shigeos out of the Kings because I'm a fool. And before I committed to these gum cards, I let one go by at auction. Like a dummy. Like, I'm kicking myself still. Like, I don't know how am I ever going to find that other one? Only way I can think of is like reaching out to Robert and see if I can get in contact with the guy who bought that one and offer him like triple what he paid just to have it. I don't know. So yeah, all right, let me see. Any other questions out there? What you guys got for me? I'm locked and loaded. Rick, I'm still working on my 5-star commenter status. Dylan, can you knock on your neighbor? No. My neighbor is an NBA player, ex-NBA player. And also his chick is a famous YouTuber. And that's who maybe Rick's referring to. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. All right, well, let me show you guys some more cards, man. So I got you guys on here. Take another sip. Now, what else can I show you guys? It's these, I'm just getting used to these cheaters because when you're close, like I've never been able to read I haven't been able to read the back of cards. It's not that I can read this because it's not in English, but I can read like the dates now, the little dates. But when you move back away from the card, everything's blurry, and my eyes, I'm like, oh. It's like, yeah, I do realize I'm going blind for sure. Ruben, let's see. All right, let me show more cards. Since there's people on here, I'm having a good time. What do we got here? Anything you guys in particular want to see? Otherwise, I'm going to show you guys a couple more of my Japanese collection because I've been really spending a lot. Oh, you know what? I'll share with you guys. I'll show you guys something sick. It is better than a card. It's like a whole bunch of cards. So my wife creates these mats for me. Put these things back. All right, got them. Where did it? Oh, right here. My wife is just the best. So she's the reason I got on YouTube to begin with, because she'd just been listening to me talk too much about all the podcasts and then the YouTube. She watched me watch it, and she's seen she never cared about my card, but she's seen my collections in our freaking pantry. I had a full-blown display in our pantry, when years ago, 12 plus years ago. She never looked at it, but it was in our pantry, our cupboard. Let me share with you guys this mat. So my whole desk, actually, I'll show you guys a tour. I'll give you guys this tour. Flip these checks over so you guys don't steal my identity. See this this desk right here? It's covered in my collection. Those like breakers mats, but they're mouse pads, basically the same thing. They're mouse pads, and I cut them to the exact shape of my desk, which is so sick. Like I just got them, the rest of them, because I rebuilt my entire desk and my wife's. We cut the whole thing. I took them all apart, rebuilt them, and redid our whole room. Well, how sick is this? So this is like a thick mat. So when I look at my collection, I put them on the table, you see. I spread all my cards out. I organize them. And this is one of the mats. And this has some of my Japanese baseball card collection. Shout out to Shoebox again. He got me that one. The turtle. Had to put that back because we're turtle people over here. I love these things. You're going to see all these in my future videos. So I made the desk where I have like a video zone, and I can prop each one up and they fit. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ones now. And I can interchange them on the desk. And then I literally cut, like, I went bonkers and cut puzzle pieces like this, like puzzle pieces to fill in the rest of the desk, like full blown, super sick. Went the extra mile to cover the entire desk. I have one more section I'm working on where I'm cutting up, but let me show you guys another mat that she made me. And it has my bird collection, which I filled in. So where there's holes on my desk, I cut up an extra bird mat. It's pretty awesome. And that is right here. Look at this one. Look at that. So I have an Instagram account. It's called Pond Koi Turtle. And I set it up as almost, hey. That's a good one. That's a good one. I set my Instagram up as like a challenge. And just to see if people would follow me, because I built ponds. And for years, me and my dad have built ponds, and we love koi, we love fish, and I love birds. We have magical birds over here. I have chickens, wild chickens, one that lets me pick them up and I feed them. And I have birds that eat out of my hand, like shamas, like birds like this. So I just love them. I spend time with them. And so my Instagram account is like animals and just like fun. I barely use it. I barely go on there. I built it up because I thought, hey, what if I can get paid to do this one day? That'd be cool. And then I did for like 2 months. I was making like $150 for like one video. I got a permission to do it for 2 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a game changer. I started doing videos of myself in it because I don't show my face except for this one section because I was making money. It was like, oh my gosh. So that's from that, like the passion of koi fish. And well, I'll show you guys a little. I'll grab the thing, see if you can see it. I'm going to take you guys over here. It's so hard to do this. Let's see. So this is my desk right there. Trying to get out of the way. See that horse racing game? I invented that. It's a gambling, drinking horse racing game. It's pretty sick. Like, had some mental nights. I built a whole bunch of those, sold a whole bunch of those back in the day, just for fun. But if you look below, this is my window. It's probably too glary. My pond, one of my ponds is down there. There we go. See the koi, Orlando? And turtles are in there. It's sick. It's crystal clear when you're not filming. It's just the reflection when you're filming. It's like when you're looking at my card wall. There's no reflection when you're in it live, right? But us video guys know, man, to get the reflection out of this stuff, impossible. All right, so let me show you guys another one. Show you another mat. So I showed you the bird. I showed you the Japanese one. And I think this is probably my favorite. This is definitely my favorite one. Hands down, the sickest mat ever. And my buddy Blix Cards, Ben, he just missed the cut for making this. He sent me a gift. Thank you, Ben. I got it. It's super sick. It's a Jerry Lopez card. I should take that comment down. You have a pond? What? No way. You have koi in that thing, John? You have koi or anything like that? Orlando's mom has a pond. Yeah, the fish are. I raised koi, so me and my dad raised koi. We have a whole bunch of ponds, like giant, huge ponds, thousands of koi fish. We sell them to the hotels and everything, so it's pretty sick. We've been raising koi forever, so that's what we always just. It's a passion. John, let me know if you have koi fish in there. Okay, this mat right here is my favorite mat ever. This is my surfing mat, and shout out to Mookie. That card's on here that you posted in your video voting for me. Look at this thing. It's got sharks. It's got surfing. It's got the best surfers in the whole world. Okay, so let me point some of them out. We got Duke, the original. Well, you can see. Let's see. We got Duke over here, Godfather, Kelly Slater, Andy Irons, John Florence. That's a gift from Ken. Ken's Cardboard. If you're out there, shut up. Go this way. Carissa Moore, the greatest girl surfer of all time. Carissa Moore. And what's cool about having a girl surfer on here, I looked for my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law is one of the greatest surfers to ever live. She was on tour for 15 years or something. But she didn't have a card because they just started making the cards. Really hard to get a card, and she doesn't have a card of hers. That would have been really special to get her on here because she's been in here too, which is pretty cool. But Carissa Moore, best girl surfer of all time. She's taking the year off. She's pregnant, maybe indefinitely. And then Gabriel Medina, the guy in the right there, he's the best like goofy footer of all time. Probably has the most talent of all time for goofy footers. And then of course Jaws Shark right there. And Gabriel Medina is the guy that was in that one famous photo from the Olympics, you know, in the air that everybody loves. And there's just like a photo. He's just like pulling out. Us surfers are like, okay, that's a cool photo. It's like, yeah, he just pulled out. You just pulled out. We pull out all the time. So that mat, really sick. Oh yeah, I might as well. So the tiger shark there, he's my nemesis / friend. That's a tiger shark. There's another one in here too. And there's Batman riding the tiger shark. And that is a tiger shark. I rode on a tiger shark almost exactly the exact same as Batman. And I had my hand in the air just like this, ready to punch him in the eyeball. Giant 12-foot tiger shark bit through the bottom of right underneath my chest, just missed me. And I was in the air on top of him. So that forever is like a collection of mine. So if any of you guys see shark cards out there, like movie scene cards like those that Mookie sent me, man, those are super sick. Any shark cards you guys see, I want in my collection. Like all those Allen and Ginters, I haven't bought the set yet. But if you have them, reach out. I'll trade for them. They'd be really cool. They're always special. Let's see, what else can I share? Let's see. All right, dude. Never been live. Never go live solo. Oh, so the back of this, Rick, I'll show you your stuff too. So right here, I didn't know what to do with the big stuff. So I got Rick's photo right there on my wall. And then I have, I'll show you guys this. This is special, okay? This is special. This is a shout out to Don, Field of Dreams, because Don always makes fun of my Smurfs color of my wall, and everyone might want to know why did he color his room blue? Because I love blue. It's sick, but the real reason is because when I was a kid, my room was this exact same color. And this picture, I have like 6 of these. This is the one that is out and where I can access it. Later in life, I painted this black. At some point, these were blue. And the same blue on my wall. You probably won't be able to see it on there, but there's blue right there. The exact same blue that's on my walls. And that's why we painted this blue. Because this represents my whole childhood. My collections are in order on the wall. I have all my toys in chronological order from date of playing with, and each individual shelf. And that's why it's blue. I got my Nintendo games, my Legos, and then it goes, oh my gosh, the trains. Everywhere we visited in our camper. I never went on a plane until I was in 8th grade. We had a camper van that my Oma and Opa gave us, so I always traveled in that. My dad's like a legend. He's a full like outdoors guy. And then my collection goes that way. And then my wife also saved her collection as a kid, which is crazy. All her toys and stuff, she loves them. She has the same feeling I get. She doesn't collect the toys. I don't collect the old toys. I only have the ones that I played with. And so she has a whole section. And we also have memory boxes. So this is my wife's grandma Dorothy's memory box. She passed away, and I was great friends with Dorothy. She lived out in what is it called? Laughlin, but across at Bullhead City, if anyone's familiar with it. I'd go out there and stay with her, Dorothy, and she's 80 something years old. We drive out there and visit her, and she lived in like a mobile home, but she had like the sick view right across the street from the casinos. And I was a huge gambler. I love gambling, sitting at the roulette table as well. She was a big drinker too. And so she would just get me wasted. We'd go over the casino and we would have the time of our lives. I got so hungover. The most hungover I've ever been in my entire life was with Dorothy. Shout out Dorothy. Was with Dorothy at her house. The next morning, I wake up. I was like, gonna die. I felt like I was gonna die. Lay down outside. And then she comes outside and she goes, hey, Dylan. She's like, you want me to make you a drink? I was like, what? In the morning, she had the plastic bottle of vodka she would drink. Whew, I'll never forget that. So I have my Oma and Opa's memory box. I have my Grandma Pat's memory box. I'm not in a rush to fill up memory boxes. Let's put it that way. I hope to never fill one again, but obviously they will be filled. But yeah, that's why my room is blue, because my mom bought me these black and whites when I was a kid. It's probably why a big reason that I have vintage cards, that I loved vintage cards and those greats because of that. But she bought those because I was already into them. I know, because she wouldn't have just bought them randomly. I just always loved vintage cards. But let me tell you guys how I grew up. Why I probably love vintage cards. I do have a theory behind it. And the theory is I probably said this before. Let me see. I'll go back to the comments real fast. Sorry, guys. I'm getting caught up in my own stories. So yeah, still have your G.I. Joes. Dude, they're the best. You get them out and you touch them, and I'll pull out my cars, like I pulled out for a video, and you hold the one that you played with. You're like, I played with all that stuff on my walls. Let's see. Oh yeah, the $1 Million Bionic Man. Everybody, dude, your age talks about that. I never had that. I never had that. But the $6 million man, my best friend Dave, growing up, his whole house was a museum. Okay, there's two reasons I became a vintage collector or a collector. Number one reason is my grandma Pat was a full-blown hoarder, a collector. She had Barbies stacked up 8 feet tall in the house. Couldn't even go upstairs in certain rooms because of that. My best friend Dave, growing up, had a museum at his house. His parents, my neighbor, like, you know, I did ride my bike to his house or walk there, but my best friend. And he had a museum in his house of dolls. His mom collected dolls and his dad collected clocks. And the whole house was filled. Like my glass cases, they had cases. The whole house was covered in dolls and big cuckoo clocks. It was incredible. It was sick. And the $1 Million Man, Stretch Armstrong, all that stuff was up there. Figures, all that stuff. Hold on, let me read the next comment. I'm going to go back to why I think I fell in love with vintage. There's another story with that. Hard to believe Dylan was nervous to make that first video a few years back. Glad you took me too. I'm glad I took the plunge. Dude, it's nerve-wracking. Like, you know, sharing your opinions, because that's why I got on here. Like, I wanted to share my opinions and thoughts. I had never done that in anything aspect of life except for my close friends where you're hanging out and you talk about things, stocks and economy and religion, all that stuff. But cards, you know, it was doable, because how mad can you get? You know, like, I don't like the card you like. That doesn't matter. It's fun to talk about why and why you like it, why I don't, or vice versa. Love that. I'd let go of my cousin. All right. So the number one reason I think that I into vintage, besides seeing them as a kid, my house growing up was like from like, I'd probably say the early 1900s, not the build, but the stuff in it. We had a stove probably from the 1800s. My dad hooked it up properly so we could use it like a normal stove, but I always thought it was going to blow up. You had to light it by hand, you know, but it looked like it was an 1800 stove or an early 1900s stove. Everything in that house was an antique, full-blown antiques, empty soap boxes, you know, like Mangini collects boxes. I have boxes of Japanese cards that they came in like Jake's got a box, T206, you know, we collect some of that stuff. Well, my mom collect like soap boxes, you know, empty soap boxes, and that stuff was displayed everywhere. My mom had little antique shelves of stuff everywhere. So obviously that influenced me to go deeper. But really, I guess in the end, it really just came down to going to the card shop and looking at the cards on the wall and seeing Hank Aaron and Mickey Mantle and be like, oh, that's one day. That'd be insane. I never even told myself one day. Like when you're a kid, I feel like, I don't know, is it just me? I don't ever remember thinking about, like, I guess I thought about the future as far as I want to be a professional baseball player. That's what I wanted to be. And then a professional surfer and then this and that. But I never thought, like, one day I'm going to have a Mickey Mantle card. One day I'm going to buy this. One day I'm going to have a house. No, never. I don't think I ever did that. It was like, you know, it's funny now. Being bored. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Thanks for starting this whole thing, man. It hit the spot for us collectors. To me, that's what the Hall of Fame is about. Why I voted the way I did, and I think that seems like the guys that got in. I feel like that's the way. That's what it is. It should almost be like a collector's Hall of Fame, a YouTube collector's Hall of Fame. That's how I look at it, because it is the collectors getting in. It is, and I love like Junk Wax Hero almost made it investor collector dealer. Do they deserve off their YouTube creation and what they've done with their content? Absolutely. But it was left up to my own device on how to figure this out. And to me, it's the collectors, and they're collectors too. And I don't want to take that from them either, because they well deserving, everyone. But obviously, you know, you didn't have, you know, random channels, you know, getting voted in, because it as someone who voted, like, I voted for collectors, and I voted for Junk Wax Hero because he's a collector. I love big channels, small channels, but collectors it's the YouTube Collectors Hall of Fame, and not the most valuable collection. I don't give a crap if your collection is worth 1 cent or $1 million, $10 million. It's the way you enjoy it and the way you share with me and with others how you enjoy that collection. That's what stands out. So thank you, Paul and Leah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Man, dude, I could go on all night talking about cards. Like, I was almost gonna, like, once Jake said, like, you can't or everyone in the chat who made all of them, you can't do a speech right now. I'm like, dude, well, what am I gonna talk about? So I was like, should I do the best 1980s cards, which I had pulled out, like my favorite sets of all time. But I'm glad I got to share more deeply my collection in my room with you guys, since, you know, that's what it's about for me. It's been really fun. Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it. Anybody have any more questions, thoughts, comments, anything you want to see behind the scenes? I mean, I got all kinds of stuff I could show. You know, I'll show you guys something kind of funny. So I have a whole collection, and my wife makes me a card every year. You guys have seen this one. So number 44, because she knew I bought that Joe DiMaggio card when I turned 44, or within that year. And she makes me a card every year for my birthday. And that was my 44th birthday card. And that's Jimmy Fox's giant neck photo, I believe, which is hilarious. But she makes me a card every year, and I'm putting them all on this wall. They're private. So every year she'll make things that, like, stand out to her through the year, like me, because I'm weird, right? You got Squinty. That's Squinty me. That's Grumpy me. That's Dr. Gremlin. So I got my glasses that year, 2021. I don't wear my glasses very, very, very much. Birdman. I've always been Birdman because I have a tattoo on my arm, an eagle tattoo. Got drunk one night with my buddy. My nickname was Eagle. His was the Owl. Got tattoos. And the Hamburglar, which absolutely hits up what just happened in the inauguration with the best lady. She looked like a Hamburglar. But that whole wall, that whole thing's going to be filled with all of them. I have a stack of them that I'm going to put up there. And then they're private, but Don't tell her I shared that because she'll lose it. She'll be so bummed. She can't stand the fact that I shared that big head one. If she would lose it if she saw I shared that secret like pet names, But that's all right. That's part of it. Grimace, that's his name, Grimace. That's so good. John, can Orlando be the Secretary of Guard Force? Yes. I'm gonna have another sip here. Let me see. I don't know what else. I mean, I could just take you guys around the room, but I want to stay on. Gosh, it's when you're on by yourself. You gotta. I'll show you guys this. So let me turn that light on. Actually, I'll just turn this one on. Flip that over there. Okay, I'll show you guys some more part of my display because I just redid my desk, so I still have some empty space there I have to fill. That was a window, but I covered it because this is all climate controlled. The AC's on here 24 hours a day, 71 degrees. Keep the humidity at the perfect temperature. Everything's dialed in. But look at my private wall there. Oh, I got another pickup. Yeah, I got a pickup. I'll share with you guys. All right, well, I'll share with you guys a huge pickup of mine that I haven't shared yet. And that wall, you'll see, has something to do with it. But you see a lot of YouTubers on that wall. Orlando's on that wall. Let's see. Orlando, you're right here, buddy. My buddy Ernest. Joe, Force Off Corners. Everybody's up there. And this is from my Opa. He had that on his board his whole life. And then when he passed away, I was asked what I wanted. I wanted this. He had this pinned to his pin board since I was a little kid. And I always wanted it. So I got that. And I also got a few other things that he gifted me before he passed, and his Apollo pin and some really cool stuff. He's a pretty legendary dude himself. There's my desk right there. I got the actual tiger shark riding Batman. Now, so after I got attacked by a tiger shark, I was told to deal with my trauma, to draw what I saw that night, what happened. I drew a picture exactly like this, except I'm laying on the shark forward and my hands are on the fin. So I literally was in that position, which is just mind blowing. I had one of those nightmares the other night. I took a nap. It was during the day, and I jolted so hard as I was about to get attacked that I kicked the table in front of me. I was in the living room. I thought I broke my toe. I was so gnarly. But yeah, look at those. One's from Dan Oldsarge Collects at the very top, Chewy. And then the Silver Surfer from Drew, Clean Cheap Shots. And then you guys know that. Look at that one. Scott, Reindeer Studios. Ooh, 101. All right, let me show you guys the pickup. Let me see. Heck yeah, Munson. You had a Oman Opa too? Yeah, it was sick. They were the greatest Oman Opas in the whole world. Oh, Orlando, you just missed your card on the wall. Okay, let me show you guys another pickup. Super random, but not random, because I said this at one time. I wanted this card, and it was found by Dan. Hold on, I'm grabbing this. Give you guys a little, like how I was gonna show it on my channel. Yeah. What the heck is Dan's channel name? He just got elected to be on 4 Collectors. I love Dan. What's his channel's name? Dan found this card. It was someone posted on Facebook or something I don't do. And I didn't share that one, Orlando. I shared your business card I have pinned to my wall. Heck yeah, Andrew. Anyway, so Dan found a card for me. And he goes, dude, and he reached out to me. He's like, do you want this thing? He wants $250 for it. And I looked at it. I didn't look online at the photo. I just saw the photo and I go, heck yeah, dude, $250. That sounds like a great deal. Like, you guys know, I don't look up comps. If I want the card, I tell myself what I'm willing to pay for it because I'm a collector. And I think that's how you really should do it. If you just look at comps all day long, you either miss out on the best stuff. And then in the future, your value just goes up just the standard amount, where I want to find something that I'm willing to pay a lot for because it's just sick, or I'm willing to this is what I'm willing to pay. I don't care what everyone else is. I want it in my collection. one day, you know, you could be rewarded for that. And so this isn't a rare card or anything, but it's a pretty special card. So this Disney Bucks, I've had this since I was, I don't know, 98 or 99, something like that. But for whatever reason, I kept this one at all these times. I didn't have it in a case until this week. I just had it pinned on my wall in a little sleeve. But this is like that magic one. I forgot what that show was called. But I always wanted this card ever since I saw it on YouTube. Thanks to YouTube. Love it. Like when I first came on YouTube, I'd never seen any of these cards. On eBay, when I used to search, it was tops, ending soonest, graded. I'd click that. All the graded stuff. I didn't care what graded company. That's how I would do it. Ending soonest, and I'd go bam, bam. Or if I'm looking for a card, it's tops. I don't even know what the Wiener set was from 54. I'd never even seen that card or heard about that card. Like if I had seen it in the past in a book, it never registered in my brain. That's what I love. I've been doing this my whole life, but never seen any of these cards. This card, 1931 WD, I don't know what that means. Don't even know. And HO, don't know what that means. Wills, don't know, don't care. Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse. This is Walt Disney's rookie card, but I'm a freaking Mickey Mouse Disney freak. Me and my wife love Disneyland. When we're there, it's like being in my card room on crack. I know Caesar loves it as well. I had a pass during high school, always went after high school. I had some good times at Disneyland. Like I have had some really incredible, some of the best days of my entire life were at Disneyland, for a lot of different reasons. Just the best time ever at Disneyland. And we took my niece last year. We booked a room at the Disneyland Resort at Disneyland. Never done that before because I lived in Huntington, so you can just drive there. But we booked a room because obviously we live far away now. 2 nights. We flew in, and my brother-in-law came and his daughter, and we had the greatest time. We stayed all the way we got in an hour early, and we left at closing. Like it was 11:30 when we walked away. I think a half hour before closing. One of the funnest times I've ever had at Disneyland. Then this last year, we took my nephew Bruce, just me and my wife. We took my nephew Bruce, and you guys have seen Bruce on my channel. We took him solo, took him out of school for 3 days. Jetted on a plane, went to Disneyland. This time he got an adventure. We stayed at Motel 6. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend another $1,000 a night on Disneyland so we can get a half hour early. Let's just go to Motel 6. It'll be like $100 a night. Who cares? We're just going. We're going in and we're going out. We can't be gone long because we have a health issue in our family right now. So my wife has to be home at all times. So we go on these 2-day banger trips. So we flew in, stayed at Motel 6. It was pretty gnarly. It's pretty sketchy. It was this Motel 6 that I had. My high school was kind of close to it, but it always felt like it was in this bad part of town, the Motel 6 part. That's where we stayed. It was sick. Stayed there 2 nights, had the time of our life. Came back, and it was just awesome. Super awesome. So, Dan, thank you for finding that treasure, and forever will be in my collection. It's a masterpiece of a card. It truly is. I've watched all the documentaries, read a couple books about Walt Disney. Really, really special. And now I'm not going down that whole non-playing or non-sports card program. Disney stuff, yeah, vintage Disney. I thought about buying some Manco cards that were Disney. Yeah, I thought about buying all kinds of different things like that. But for now, that's good. Sticking with that. I've got a modern card that I got from Shane with Disneyland Castle right there. Hold on, let me look. I think my wife just showed up. Let me check. Might be shutting it down. Hello? Hello? No, she's not here. If she is, she left. Yeah, so that is a pretty sick pickup. I haven't shown a lot of pickups, actually. I don't know about you guys, but Let's see, Dylan, you guys, I'll read a couple comments, then I'll have some more thoughts. Disneyland is so much better than Disney World. Really? Dude, I thought, well, here's the deal, Mangini. When you go to Disneyland, it's crazy crowded. You can barely even breathe. It's not as bad as the train ride from hell when I went to Chicago for a baseball game, but it's jammed. But what you got to do is you pay for the upgrade. Anyone go to Disneyland, you pay for the upgrade. Forgot Magic Pass or whatever it's called. Worth every penny. You never wait in a single line. You go on every single ride more than once on a couple of them. Insane. Never wait in a single line. Costs a lot of money, but it's worth every penny. Hold on. Let's see. Well, I'll never have to go there then. Dylan, you guys have to do Disney World sometime. Oh, well, it did. I just got talked out of it, talked into it. No, me and my wife are going to do it one time. 100%. So we're, dude, little exciting news I'll share with you guys since just kind of all friends on here. My nephew Titus, who's been on this channel, he's a soccer player and he went to Barca Academy for high school. He's still in high school. Well, he got asked to go on a tryout in Spain for Huesca, I think it's called Huesca. And he's staying over there permanently. It's insane. No more high school. Left high school playing pro soccer. He is on the U19. He was going to sign a contract, but now he's on the U19. So I think it goes U19, C, B, A, and then the big time. He's very young. He's in high school. But he is getting paid basically to play soccer now in Spain. It was like brought us to tears. Like, talk about something special. I've never seen someone try harder on a sport as an athlete in my entire life than my nephew Titus. So to see what is transpiring in front of our eyes is magical. So I hope he becomes super famous. I just want him to be on some soccer cards, and then I won't even look at a baseball card again. It'd be Titus, right? Soccer cards every day. You guys will love my channel. So I'll shout that out. My family curled up in a stroller parking lot sucking. All right, so where was I? YouTube. God, I was gonna say something really intelligent. Maybe if I put these on, it'll come across intelligent. YouTube, what it has done. I'm blind if it's too far, if you guys are too far from the screen. It's funny to me every time I get on here. I'll get my lineup ready. Excuse me. Show some cards. I'm like, I got all these sick cards I want to play with, and when I'm looking at them and I'm diving in, like, I'll line them up, and I'll just sit there and stare at them, and I'll talk about them, and it's I find it fascinating that I love to watch guys do that, and guys love to watch me do that, because earlier on in YouTube, like my friends' kids, they would tell me before I was into YouTube or even looked at YouTube or anything, they're like, dude, they watch guys play with toys, and like they put their hands in it, and he's like, they sit there watching that all day. I go, what? Well, here I am. Fast forward, that's what I'm doing, but I'm playing with adult toys, and I'm watching you guys play with your adult toys, having the best time ever, talking about what we're seeing in the moment and how we look at this card, and I look at this. I look at Mickey Mouse and I go, look at that card. He's sitting on Walt Disney's lap. The guy's creator. This is like Mickey Mouse's God. This is like that movie Prometheus, where you go meet the God that created you and that created that, and so on and so forth. Like, this is Mickey's God. He's sitting on his lap. I just, you just go on about cards. That's why I love cards. You can look at him and see something different every time. Like this, you can look at it and see Mr. Rogers. You can see this crazy neck collar he's got going on. Like, that's so sick. I haven't even read the back yet on this thing. I have not read the back. There's so many fun things about it. It's been fascinating. It's been a fun time on here. Okay, well, dude, I've been on for an hour and 50 minutes. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Oh, wait. It was. Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks is always on my wall. Ernie Banks rookie card, man. I remember when I bought that card. I bought that card. Where is that thing? Right there. I bought that card in the flesh at my local mall here, like, I don't know, 7 years ago. It was like, there's an Ernie Banks card here. There's like 10 vintage cards. Blew my mind. I looked at that thing all the way home. I bought a Pete Rose rookie card the exact same day I bought that. I went just bonkers because he had them, and I knew he had them before. And I went there, and I was like, "Oh, this is the day." When I drove home with those two cards side by side, looking at them at every stoplight, looking over, making sure the sun wasn't hitting them. That was a moment I'll never forget. Let's see. Scott's now. Let's see an exhibit card. Oh, dude. The only thing Scott Stooks is gonna, well, Stooks loves all cards. Like, he used to be a dealer. Like, he's done all this top stuff. He's done what I've done. So now I see why these older guys, like, you move on to other things. And not that you don't love all the old top stuff, but Stooks found another lane. And I think it's sick. Like, you got to find your lane in this hobby. It makes it like before YouTube, tops, any vintage tops card, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, you name it. Yeah, that's sick. Go. It wasn't because, hey, I need that card. I need to check that off. The only set I ever collected graded before YouTube was the MVP set from 75 Tops. And I think I was still missing one when I got on YouTube. I just never actually got it. And I finally did. But that's the thing. Like, that's why YouTube is so important to collectors. We get to share this passion, and then you get inspired from guys and see how they do it. I've always done cards on my wall. I've done randomness. I've done tops 51 all the way through in order, which I have now. All kinds of different ways. That my collection has always just been random. It just so happened that I had enough cards to fill 51 through that. But I wasn't like, I got to get this, I got to get a card from that set. It was never like that. And now I have these like Mike Trout cards, Aaron Judge cards. It really makes it a whole new world. There's always something going on. Like, there's always something cool to see. I'm like Mangini. If I'm, everyone thinks me and Mangini might be so different on so many aspects of how we collect cards, but we're actually not. Actually quite the same. I don't go out of my way to look for anything. I let cards find me. I still do. My number one search on eBay is tops. And then I go ending soonest. And then I hit the grading thing, just like I've always done. Whatever randomly shows up. And then I know I'm missing Bowman cards and things like that. So then I'll type in Bowman. If there's nothing in the next hour, funnel through. And now I got to look up like tops Venezuelan, because I've never seen a Venezuelan card in my life. So now sometimes I'll type in Venezuelan ending soonest. And then, every once in a while I'll look for something. Sometimes I'll find something like that Roger Maris 61 I showed earlier autograph. I wasn't looking for that card. It wasn't even in my brain. You know what was on my brain, which I was going to buy, was, Adam! Woo! Adam! I was going to buy a Lou Gehrig 1933 Gaudy. That was, with that money I sold, or the 144 Babe Ruth. Those were the two cards I was going to buy with that money. But that Roger Maris crushed those cards in my mind on all levels. And so that's what's special. Boom! How sick is that? We already have our first Hall of Fame card right here, already made. Oh my gosh. Now this thing's worth some money right here. Watch out. Woo! You guys better save yours if you have them autographed. Not too many out there. Yeah, I love this card. It's on my desk. I just love it. And I love that we got this at the National, this frame in the package. Yeah, Rob. Thanks for coming on, Rob. It was always a pleasure meeting you at the National and talking with you and your son. That was sick. Every time I go to the National, my mind's blown. Yeah, I wish it was closer this year. I would love to go again. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Whew. I need to get back to the beginning now. Good luck, Adam. It was a good time, I'll tell you that. Man, what else can I talk about? Man, I won't grab that. But yeah, collecting, it's fun. That's awesome. There's just so much joy involved in having a purpose for each card now. Just makes it like, whoa, this is sick. Nobody has this. Um, that's where I'm at, guys. Thank you. It's been an honor. This is the last video you're going to see of me. Signing off of YouTube and deleting my account after this. I made it to the Hall of Fame. I don't have to be nice to those misfit guys anymore. I don't have to do it. I don't have to kiss butt to them. I'm done. See ya. Oh man, never. Are you kidding? I've been doing this forever. I just can't believe it. I don't see a day where I'm like done talking about cards in slow motion in front of my hand, you know? I think so. Like making videos, when I make them, I've been making a lot of morning videos with my coffee. I really love it. It was a hell of a run. Now it's done. I love doing videos with my cup of coffee in the morning, and I didn't know I did so much, but the most energy I have is right as I'm drinking my cup of coffee in the morning. You think I'm jazzed right now? You think a little cocktail is gonna do it? Give me a cup of coffee, I'm jamming. I mean, earlier than that, I'm still like, unless I drank the night before, of course. But if I've had a night's sleep, I'm jamming. I love looking at cards in the morning. I don't know why it gets my day jamming. But my second favorite, when I'm having a drink and just being here completely in the moment with you guys, with the card. Every time I do a video, it's like, yeah, it's live, Ken. Every time I do a video, I picture everybody in here hanging out, and I talk about them like you're in here. I just wish I could just snap my. I don't wish I lived closer to you guys because I love where I live. I mean, I don't have to wear a shirt if I go to the DMV. I love it year round. But I wish I was closer to you guys because I would love to hang out in the flesh more. And when I came to the National, I come to the National, it's like the first 2 days, I'm like on cloud 9. But then I have this missing, this heart sense, like this urgency to be close to my wife, or like, I know we all have that. But coming so far, traveling so far, at the first National, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to do a VR for Brent Richards cards and collectibles. I think that's his channel name, but I love Brent. We're great friends. We text all the time. And this is included in that whole story of what I was talking about. But he wanted to talk about ballpark memories. Not everybody, but people are coming along and talking about, like, Caesars was insane today. I listened to that on the way home. Man, my ballpark memories have nothing to do with the games being played. Not even a thing. I don't remember a single hit. I don't remember a game. I don't remember who anyone was playing. I don't remember anything. What I remember is how I felt at those games emotionally. My favorite game, okay, I'll give 2 of my favorite games of all time. And then I'll give my least favorite game, and a game that I felt sick to my stomach. And this has to do with the National. I'll express that because it was part of my life. But the first 2 games, the first game that was my greatest game of my whole life is when we were in Little League. And my dad would take me to games. He was a welder. He worked for Shell Oil Company. And he would fly out on the oil derricks and work out there. And he'd fly by in his helicopter while surfing, hang out the window and wave. And he worked on the oil fields. And they would give him tickets to the Angel game sometimes. My dad's not a sports guy. He coached he was like the side coach, whatever you call that, assistant coach. Always played catch with me. Always took me to the park every day, all day. Anytime I wanted, he would play with me after a long day of work. Well, he would take me to these games. Well, one game, you got to walk the field. You got to walk the border of the field. And I will never forget that. I wanted to be, I was probably 7 years old or something, probably 6 years old. I wanted to be a professional baseball player so bad. I wanted to run out and touch that field and just be a part of that. It was the greatest thing ever. And I remember having ice cream at the games. I don't know if it was that game in particular, but games with my dad and getting the ice cream out of the little helmets And he'd always buy me those mini bats that I always use. You see it. That one that I use isn't my original one, but it is the same one, but not the same one. Get it? I don't know what happened to that one. It's depressing because I played with that for decades. I hope it's in a box under the house somewhere. But that was number one. My favorite memories of ballparks were when I was with my dad going to games back in the day. You know, we went to a Lakers game one time. We got tickets to the Lakers game when we were kids, and we probably stayed for one period. And Magic Johnson, I know, was playing. And we were like, dude, are you like this? I'm like, no. We left. We never bought it. It was on the bottom floor too. Not on the floor itself, but on the bottom area. In baseball, we were always back in left field. Left field, I love those because you get the home run balls coming to you right past the foul ball territory. But this basketball game we went to, we were so over it. Me and my dad were so bored. We're like, dude, we didn't watch sports. I never watched sports growing up. And we went to that game. We left after one period. Drove to LA, got out of there. I'll never forget that, going to that game with my dad. And we looked at each other. We're like, are you bored? Yeah, let's go. It's so funny. I'll never forget that. My gosh. And then my second greatest, actually, it's my first greatest day of my whole life. I guess there's a lot of those. I kind of rank days in my life. Like I have days, nights that are just like, this is the best night of my life. I kind of have this ranking in my head. Sometimes I'll sit down and like rank them literally. Well, this is the most meaningful day of my entire life. So I asked my wife to marry me. I took her on a hot air balloon ride. I'm scared to death of heights. Hate heights. I don't even want to stand. I go on my roof. I can't stand being at heights. Like deathly afraid. Well, I had a bright idea of taking a hot air balloon ride. Yeah, we can put a banner out. That'd be sick. I'll ask her to marry me. Took her on the hot air balloon ride. Woke up at like 4 a.m. Did that. It was actually incredible because it's dead silent. They turn the gas off and and you're floating and you're flying. You've never done it. I highly recommend it. I'm scared to death of heights, but I had an incredible time. Well, came back. There was an Angels game that night, and I had invited all of our friends, a group of like 7 other people or so, to go to the Angel game, meet us there after we got engaged. She said yes. I did it right next to my car. Like, ended up, I was so nervous. I just like opened my car door after when we were done with the ride, and I opened the car door and I got on me. Most unromantic in the parking lot of the hot air balloon. It was granted it was like a hay parking lot, but it was a parking lot right next to the car. Oh, it was mental. Went to an Angel game that night. I should have brought for the VR, I was gonna bring out a book and show you photos, but Lord, my wife's real private anyways, but I had the best time ever at that game. I don't know who was playing. We were drinking. We were having the time of our lives. All of my friends were there. We were just having the best time ever. And I just got engaged to my beautiful wife. And it was just a moment in a game I'll never forget. So fast forward to the worst game of my life. For reasons not of the game itself, but it was the National. And I went to the National with all the boys. Let's see who was there, man. Ken, Scott, Matt. Dude, there were a lot of guys. I could remember him if I sat and think about it. But went on a train from hell to get there, which is fine. I had a blast talking on the train. We had a great time. It was squished up. Never been that close to people in my life. Got to the game. Got a phone call in the middle of the game, or in the beginning of the game, actually, that my mother-in-law had got rushed to the hospital. Here I am, freaking 29 hours away from home, at least 2 days travel, and then another 2 hours away from the hotel room. And then there was like 2 days left of the event. I was just sick. I felt sick because I love my mother-in-law. Unlike maybe some, I love my mother-in-law. I go over there and hang out with her at least twice a week, watch movies with her, hang out with her, make her food. Like, we hang out. We've been friends for a long time. So I felt I wasn't going to go to begin with to the National because of that, but it was my first National. And so that's kind of why I struggled with going to the National, because at that moment I was sick. And Scott, everybody who was at the game knew, like, I kind of told them, and I just couldn't enjoy the rest of that trip. It was gross. So those my 2 best and 1 worst. But yeah, VR for Brent. There you go. I was gonna do one, but that's there. There you go, Brent. I'll tag you. Um, let's see. Anything else? I love the National though. I do those get-togethers, hanging out with friends, talking cards. Greatest nights ever on that list. I could knock up 2 nights. That first night I got there at the first National, going to dinner, sitting at that big table with Mangini and Rick and John Wade Bogdan, sitting next to Adam, Splendid Sports, my co-hosts, a whole bunch of guys. That moment was like the pinnacle of my collecting career, because that embodied what I had watched the year before with Lou Rock doing those lives and everyone doing those lives with everyone hanging out, talking about cards. That embodied that everything, that moment, and encapsulated in that moment. And then having drinks with everybody, and then Mangini throwing $100 bills to the waiter because he was all angry, like, there's too many guys, you guys gotta leave. And then John's like slipping him 100. And then the guy was like our best friend the rest of the night, gave us anything we wanted. I mean, the president stepping up. That's what the president's supposed to do. That's why he got it. That's why he is who he is. And then the second National, going to that house, pulling up to that house and getting picked up at the airport with freaking Jake, Legends Never Die, Hall of Fame, the King of the Hall of Fame. Dude, who else is in the car? Drew, Jim, Rick. I think you were still with me at that point too, because we traveled the whole time together. That was insane. Pulling up, getting picked up by Scott Render Studios, going over to his house, getting a tour of his house. That was another pinnacle of collecting history. Like, what? Seeing his workshop, being in that place, just like it was like a spiritual moment, magical moment for me. Hanging out with everybody at the table. I was so tired. I hadn't slept in literally. It had been over 48 hours since I slept for more than an hour. Literally, I fell asleep on the couch, and then Rick's selling his cards out from under everybody, and I feel like I could have bought like 6. I could have spent all my money at that house that night. Man, it was insane. And then pulling up to the house and then picking our beds, and those were the funnest nights ever. Every single night at that Misfits house was like magic. Every night. I didn't have any bad phone calls, anything like that. Every time I was at that house, I was like, it was like, yeah, we played home run derby. All of it was sick. Everyone talks about the hot tub. So the hot tub story, I just, it's so funny to me that it's such a story. The thing that I remember about the hot tub is the greatest, me and Jason meeting over shakes and Alex. That was so sick. Best shake I've ever had ever in my life. So the hot tub, what I remember about the hot tub is making a crazy trade with Lou Rock. I traded a 1960 Willie Mays that I bought, or actually I traded for at the prior National, sitting on the floor. Even Rick, I think, walked by and saw me making a trade. I was sitting on the floor, and I traded some Ohtani cards for Sandy Koufax and the 60 Mays. There was a couple trades going on, but they all had to do with that. There was only $20 exchange hands, then it ended up coming back to me. So I just traded some Ohtani rookies, base rookies, for that Mays. And then I traded that Mays to Lou Rock for a bunch of sick Tiffany cards, Topps Tiffany cards, 1984. And one was a Darryl Strawberry rookie card, SGC 9. And then there was a bunch of like leaders cards and some other ones they just let me pick through. So I picked through what I thought was fair, put a conglomerate about, it was like a $200 worth of stuff in my brain and $200 worth of a card himself. That's what I remember. But everybody remembers me taking my pants off and jumping in there. See, I didn't know that wasn't a thing. I thought that's what you did. I thought guys are all hanging out. I had I had a pair of trunks out there. I had shorts on. I wanted to keep one pair of trunks dry. Took them off. Brought other trunks out there. Put those on. Jumped in. I don't know. I just thought that's standard. Like surfers, we change all the time. Like change the beach towel every day at the beach my whole life. We always used to rip each other's towels off when we were, in high school. Your buddy's changing, you rip his towel off. Like, this is what we did. And that's the story behind it. But I love that it's lived on in infamy forever. Where's that candy bar in HT? Where was there a candy bar in a candy bar? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Henry. I was looking at Oh, speaking of that, yeah, Jake was the first guy I met. I was like starstruck. Had to, had to take a picture. Dude, exactly, right? It's insane. Stooks was the very first YouTuber I met. Scott was the very first YouTuber I ever met. No, I take that. Did Ken come over here first before I went to the National? I think Ken came before I went to the National. But if it wasn't Ken, it was Scott Stooks. When I flew to Chicago, I met, I mean, technically it was Bob, but he wasn't making YouTube videos. He makes YouTube videos now because he hung out with all of us YouTubers. But Scott was the first YouTuber I met in the lobby that night. Stooks, he was so cool. Oh my gosh, yeah, what up? Yeah, it was sick. Yeah, that was awesome. Let's see. Man, dude, I gotta do these lives more often. I should come up with some kind of live format that I do. Like everybody else does. It really I feel closer, but I gotta pay attention to you guys. Pretty bad at that. First one Hugo met was the legend. I remember you filmed that, if I'm not mistaken. No, I was so jealous. I'm like, oh, that's sick. They're hanging out. Every time you guys go hang out at Lou Rock's, the backyard with that pool, I like picture all these alligators in the in that Lake Bandit's house. But everyone's hanging out there. I was like, that's sick. If I lived in Florida, man, you guys couldn't even get rid of me. I'd be at your house all day. Yeah, Stooks. Yeah, you remember Stooks in the it was in the lobby. And then I ran into you like 4 times. You were always buying, you had like a bunch of uncuts. Remember you had this uncut sheet of like 1990 Fleer, the yellow set. I remember you sharing me. I swear I remember you picking that up. I was like, dude, that's crazy. That's sick. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, Mitchell. I met Mitchell too. Car collector. Okay, Mitchell, Jason's first guy. Yeah, everybody share their first guy. Mitchell, White Sox fan and card collector, was the first YouTuber I met at a local card show. At a local show. Orlando was the first YouTuber I met at a national. Dude, that's sick. Mitchell's awesome. I met Mitchell like the first day at the national, my first national in line. Just ran into him. No, we were walking by. He had his cousin with him or something, I think. He was like filming at like a video guy with him, his cousin. That was pretty sick. That was really cool. Anybody else have those cool stories? Egg, man, I'd love to hang out with Egg at a card show. I'd be sick. Love to see his face. Maybe I'll have him send me a face shot. Egg, if you're still on here, I just want to see your face. Connect it. Oh, you did. Andrew met Chris Sewell at a Mid-Atlantic card show, and I took photos for him with a fan. Fun times. Dude, I never met Chris, and I saw him. I don't know why I didn't go up to him and talk to him. But actually, to be quite honest, I probably only watched like over my whole lifetime, probably 10 episodes of Chris's, and not because they're not awesome. I just, you go in your funnel on YouTube and you start watching guys, and then you forget about this, and you don't have notifications on, and no other reason than that. We find our guys, we find our little lanes, and we kind of go down those. Then we hit random ones to make sure, hey, we're still alive. Hey, I'm still here. Give them a comment. It's not that we don't love them and love what they do. It's just how it is. It's how it's world. You can't be best friends with everyone or watch everyone's. Carlos is on here. Carlos, dude, what? That's sick. Carlos. So I watch Carlos because I'm Carlos every Friday. Actually, I don't watch. I listen. So every Friday, I get ready for a pop-up shop. 2 pop-up shops normally, but one got closed down for the time being over here, which sucks. But 2 pop-up shops, my wife. So I'm loading the car. It takes me like an hour and a half, doing things, getting ready, and I'm always listening to Carlos and his friends he has on there, Eric, and it's a blast. I love how Carlos does it. He has fun humor. He's respectful and just has a good time with the hobby. He has a great time. And I can disagree with so many things that he says and does, and just whole Hall of Fame thing. Why came to tears at the beginning talking about it, what it means to me. It means nothing to Carlos. And I'm not mad at Carlos. I don't care. His experience on YouTube and with the people is his experience. My experience on YouTube is my experience. It's like having, it's like your grandpa. Maybe your uncle hated your grandpa growing up. But if you loved your grandpa and you have a special relationship with your grandpa, that's your relationship with your grandpa. And I say that out of experience. My uncle didn't like my opa because their relationship, you know, what they went through in life together. I loved my opa. I thought he was the greatest human being to ever walk the face of the earth next to my dad. And he told me my dad was the greatest human he ever saw walk the face of the earth, like kindness, gentleness, all of it. So we all have these relationships with YouTube, with friends, with everything in life. So everyone takes it all differently. So let's go on. Carlos, thanks for coming on for a minute. Really appreciate that, man. You're like a legend in this community in my mind, because you keep me entertained for hours and hours. I'll listen to you later if I'm bored. Oh, he had a 5-hour podcast. I'll just pop that on. What are these guys talking nonsense? Well, I love it. All right, Andrew, what do you got? Yeah, the YouTube Sports Grid Hall of Fame videos help me realize as much channels I watch. There's just as many I do not, but there's only so much time in the day. Dude, Andrew's so right. So I came across a channel. Can't remember what the name was, but it was a weird S. Hugo, if you're still in there, it was like, there's a couple that does it, but they do these great videos. He did one like cards that look like crap. It's like it's not Sensodyne or that channel, but it's a weird name. I think those videos are the most sickest videos ever. And I found that because of him. I had watched one right before Hugo said that. And I was like, wait, I started following them. And they've probably been on it for years. It's like one of those things. You go in your rabbit hole and you stick with it, your friends and your little thing. But, you know, you once in a while, you find this other channel, you find this other guy, and you're like, oh, I love that. Oh, I listen to Carlos on Friday nights. Yeah, I always see you in there, Rick. Yeah. After I'm done doing my thing, I got to put my time in after as well. I don't know how Carlos, those guys get away for hours on end. I'm like, dude, this hour and 40 minutes I've been on here, my wife's probably banging down the kitchen right now trying to get in over here. We have our home separated by an opening we have our living room, kitchen, and then we have our bedroom, another bathroom, and another room over here. And they're two separate buildings. And there's a walkway in between them, but it's an open walkway, and that's where our pond is. You walk over our pond and our koi and everything. So we can have two separate things going on. She can be watching TV over there, being loud with her friends. I could be over here, but we do have the same office space. And then she'll like come in like, okay, it's time. Yeah. Well, yeah, Carlos is a much wash. Respectful might be a bit strong, but I appreciate the concept. No, you are respectful. There's a big difference between you're allowed to speak your opinions the way you do. I've never been like, oh my gosh, nothing like that. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate that. Okay, well, dude, I better go. I'm out. I want to go have another drink and celebrate tonight. It's been a pleasure being on here with you guys. Blitz Cards, Ben. Dude, I was talking about you earlier. I got your present. You just missed my surfing mat, but I'm going to share that card. It's on my to be shared it's in one of my next show box to be shown. So thank you. I was going to text you and I just keep forgetting with everything going on. Okay. Thank you guys. Appreciate everyone. Double shaka. And I'll do another live again. That was really fun. Okay. Later.